Hello everyone, this is Breanna Rutter from howtoblackhair.com, and in this video I would like to talk about the reasons why you have a dry and itchy scalp. So if you're on this earth and you're living and breathing and eating and sleeping and operating as a person or as an animal, you are going to have issues with dry skin. This is something that's unavoidable because there's always changes, such as if you're hydrated, if you eat well, the area you live in. So in this video, I am going to explain in 8 reasons as to why you may have issues with a dry and itchy scalp. So the first most important reason as to why you may have issues with a dry and itchy scalp is because you don't have a cleansing or a conditioning routine. So even though you may keep your hair clean and you may keep your hair conditioned, it's hard to fight away dry scalp if you're very inconsistent with how often you cleanse and condition your hair. You want to have a routine that your skin is used to, that you get used to, so it stops yourself from having an itchy, dry scalp. If you wash your hair too much, this will lead to dry scalp, or if you're always putting water on your hair and scalp and then a couple of days you don't, your scalp starts to dry up or feels like it's lacking. So if you have a consistent routine, you could be able to adjust whether or not you need shampoo sessions throughout the week, or you need to condition your hair a little bit more to get your scalp in perfect conditions. So the second reason as to why you may have issues with your dry scalp is because you're not keeping your scalp moisturized. It's really important, especially with African American hair, that you keep your hair as moisturized as possible. And the same thing goes for your scalp. Water will be your best friend for moisturizing. It is the #1 moisturizing product ever to exist. That's where you get moisture from. So even if you simply have to use a spray bottle to mist your scalp, you want to make sure you seal in that water with some type of oil to keep your skin hydrated. The third reason as to why you may have issues with an itchy and dry scalp is because you are dehydrated. If you don't drink enough water or the recommended amount of water a day, where's the water coming from to moisturize your scalp? What's very important in your body are your vital organs like your brain, your heart, your lungs, your digestive system. So if you're not taking in any water, then your organs are absorbing as much as it can and nothing's left for your scalp and even your hair. So if you notice that, oh, everything I do, nothing works, my scalp is always dry and itchy, you probably need to drink more water. So my fourth reason as to why your scalp may be itchy and dry is because you are using humectants in a dry environment. So depending on where you may live, the climate may always be dry, or you're experiencing a dry part of the season. If you use humectants in your hair products during this time, your scalp will be dry. The purpose of a humectant is to attract as much moisture as it can. But the downside about this is that if you're going through the dry times of the year or you live in a dry area, there's nowhere to extract moisture but from your scalp and your hair. So if you use humectants when the air is dry or you're in a dry climate or environment, this will make your scalp even drier. So save this for more of the rainy seasons or more of cool weather rather than using it when it's hot out or not as humid. When trying to fix your dry and itchy scalp, you must keep this in mind. So my fifth reason as to why you're experiencing this is because you have product buildup in your hair. So depending on how much products you like to use or how heavy of ingredients your product has, this will clog your pores and stop moisture, which is water, from penetrating your skin and your scalp. So if you have product buildup, this often leads to an itchy scalp. And then it leads to a dry scalp because water can't penetrate through your products enough to give yourself moisture. So if you like to use a lot of gels and serums and hairsprays, make sure you wash your hair a little bit more often to stop yourself from having product buildup. So my sixth reason of why you are experiencing this hair problem is because you have mineral buildup in your water. So of course you gotta make sure that from the last tip you don't have too many products in your hair, but in this tip you have to be sure that your hair isn't coated with minerals from your water. If you happen to live in a place that has hard water, you will notice that your hair will even be unmanageable at times because you can't get the moisture to really penetrate the hair like you need. So in the description box below, I have a link to my website that actually talks about how to prevent mineral buildup from happening on your hair and the products that you can use to help cleanse your hair because of minerals. So there's common minerals that are in our water, such as sulfur, calcium, and even some metals. And as these things sit on top of your hair, they aren't able to actually dissolve into your hair or be absorbed by your hair, so they sit on top of your hair shaft. In order to get these minerals off of your hair to stop your scalp also from being dry, you need to use some type of deep cleansing shampoo to do so. Now, my 7th reason as to why it may be hard to control a dry and itchy scalp is because you use sulfate shampoos. By nature, sulfate shampoos are extremely cleansing shampoos that strip off almost everything. So even when you shampoo your hair with sulfate shampoo, this often leaves your hair drier and your scalp even more dry. Make sure to use natural shampoos to wash your hair because you just need to clean your hair. You don't need to strip your hair. So by using more natural shampoos that don't contain sulfates, this gives your hair and your scalp a good clean without constantly battling dry scalp. My favorite natural shampoo that I like to use is the Dr. Bronner's Cast Iron Soap or Cast Iron Shampoo. In the link below, you can also check it out on the post as I talk about the different shampoos that I like to use to avoid an itchy scalp. So my last and final reason as to why you may be suffering from a dry and itchy scalp is because you naturally produce low sebum. So you're like, okay, what does this have to do with my scalp or my hair? What is sebum? Sebum is the natural oil that your scalp excretes to keep moisture locked into your scalp and into your hair. So, by nature, naturally, African American people produce lower sebum productions than others. So that's why it's even harder to make sure to keep our hair moisturized. What you want to do to help this situation is to use oils that similarly mimic what sebum is, which is jojoba oil and even coconut oil. So coconut oil happens to be my favorite oil for my hair and my scalp, and all I do after a wash or a co-wash or just by misting my scalp and hair, I dip my fingers in the coconut oil and just run them across my parts if I have braids, or run them across my scalp, and it takes away the dry scalp instantly. So if you've tried everything on the list, from sulfate shampoos to making sure that you don't use humectants in dry climate and all the other reasons, you just naturally produce low sebum, so you have to make sure you lock in water with some type of oil. So those are my reasons as to why you may be experiencing a dry and or itchy scalp. If this video has been helpful to you, make sure to leave any comments you have down in the comments section below. Also, be sure to go on over to howtoblackhair.com and check out more hair information and videos like these.